deep within the heart of Africa, far beyond the reach of modern civilization. Ancient tribes continue to live exactly as their ancestors did thousands of years ago. Their customs are breathtaking. Their rituals are mysterious. Their stories have never been told until now. From the red-ochre covered Himba of Namibia, to the fierce Maasai warriors of East Africa, to the last hunter-gatherers on Earth, the Hadza of Tanzania. These are the traditional tribes of Africa that the world forgot. Welcome to Hidden Africa. Before we begin this incredible journey, make sure to subscribe to Hidden Africa and hit the bell icon so you never miss another documentary. Now, let's explore. Africa is home to more than 3,000 distinct ethnic groups and over 2,000 languages. It is, without question, the most culturally diverse continent on the planet. Yet, most of the world knows almost nothing about its traditional tribes. While skyscrapers rise in Lagos, Nairobi, and Dar es Salaam, just a few hundred kilometers away, communities exist that have rejected modernity entirely. They live without electricity, without phones, without money, by choice. Their wealth is measured in cattle, in children, in knowledge of the land, and in the strength of their traditions. But these cultures are disappearing. Globalization, climate change, government resettlement programs, and the relentless march of the modern world threaten to erase traditions that have survived for millennia. This video is a tribute to these extraordinary people, a record of their beauty, their resilience, and their way of life before it vanishes forever. Join us as we journey across the continent, from the deserts of Namibia to the forests of Congo, from the Rift Valley of Tanzania to the Omo Valley of Ethiopia, to meet some of the most fascinating traditional tribes in Africa. We begin our journey in the sweeping grasslands of East Africa, in the lands straddling Kenya and Tanzania, home of the Maasai, perhaps the most recognized tribe in all of Africa. The Maasai are semi-nomadic pastoralists who have roamed these plains for over 500 years. Their entire world revolves around one thing: cattle. The Maasai cattle are not just livestock. They are a divine gift. According to Maasai belief, when the earth and sky separated at the beginning of time, the god Enkai entrusted all the world's cattle to the Maasai people. A man's wealth is measured entirely by the size of his herd. Cattle provide everything: milk, blood, meat, leather, and even building materials. In Maasai culture, drinking fresh cow blood mixed with milk is considered both nutritious and sacred. But the Maasai are best known for their warriors. Young men between the ages of 15 and 30 undergo rigorous training and initiation rites to become warriors. The famous Adumu, or jumping dance, is far more than entertainment. It is a display of strength, stamina, and status. The higher you jump, the more desirable you are. Maasai women are the backbone of the community. They build the houses, fetch water, cook, and create the stunning beaded jewelry that has become synonymous with Maasai identity. Each color in their beadwork carries, meaning red for bravery and blood, blue for the sky and water, green for the land, white for peace, and black for the struggles of daily life. Today, the Maasai face immense pressure. Their ancestral grazing lands have been converted into national parks, gamey reserves, and commercial farms. Many young Maasai are leaving traditional life for cities. Yet, the Maasai spirit endures. They remain one of the few tribes that have actively resisted pressure to abandon their customs, and they continue to walk proudly across the African plains, just as they have for centuries. Over 3,000 kilometers to the southwest, in one of the most inhospitable corners of Namibia, lives a tribe that has captivated photographers, anthropologists, and travelers for generations: the Himba. The first thing you notice about the Himba is their striking appearance. Himba women cover their entire bodies and hair in a mixture called otagize, a blend of butterfat, ochre pigment, and aromatic herbs. This gives their skin a deep, reddish glow that is considered the ideal of beauty. But otagize is far more than cosmetic. It protects against the brutal desert sun, repels insects, and keeps the skin moisturized in an environment where water is extraordinarily scarce. In fact, the Himba rarely bathe with water. Instead, they take daily smoke baths, burning aromatic herbs and resins, and allowing the smoke to cleanse their body. In a land where a single rainstorm can be the difference between life and death, water is far too precious to waste on bathing. At the heart of every Himba village is the Okaruo, the sacred ancestral fire. This fire is never allowed to go out. It represents the family's connection to their ancestors, who they believe act as intermediaries between the living and their supreme god. The village chief tends this fire and communicates with the ancestors through it. The Himba are semi-nomadic herders who have survived in this harsh desert for over 500 years. They herd cattle and goats across vast distances in search of grazing land. Despite centuries of contact with the outside world, including devastating wars with neighboring tribes and German colonial forces, the Himba have fiercely maintained their traditional way of life. But the future is uncertain. Government development projects, mining operations, and the growing impact of tourism are slowly changing Himba life. Some Himba, especially younger generations, are beginning to wear Western clothing and attend government schools. The question remains, can the Himba preserve their ancient identity in a rapidly changing world? Now we travel to Tanzania, to the shores of the remote lake Eyasi. In the Great Rift Valley, home to one of the most remarkable groups of people on Earth. The Hadza are believed to be one of the oldest lineages of humanity. Genetic studies suggest they have lived in this region of East Africa for at least 50,000 years, possibly longer. They are among the last true hunter-gatherer societies remaining on Earth. Unlike the Maasai and Himba who herd livestock, the Hadza owned nothing. They grow no crops. They keep no animals. They build no permanent structures. Everything they need, every meal, every tool, every medicine, comes directly from the wild. Men hunt with handmade bows and arrows, often tipped with poison extracted from the desert rose plant. Their accuracy is astonishing. Women gather tubers, berries, and baobab fruit, but the most prized food of all is wild honey. The Hadza have an extraordinary relationship with a bird called the honey guide. This small bird actually leads the Hadza to wild beehives, chattering and flying from tree to tree until the hunters find the nest. In return, the Hadza leave behind the beeswax for the bird. It is one of the only known examples of cooperation between humans and wild animals. The Hadza speak a Klit language, one of only a handful remaining in the world, that linguists believe may be among the oldest forms of human speech. They have no formal leaders, no social hierarchy, no concept of ownership or wealth. Decisions are made by consensus. If you don't like what the group decides, you simply leave and join another camp. It is a level of personal freedom that modern societies can only dream of. Today, fewer than 1,000 Hadza remain, and only about 300 to 400 still practiced a fully traditional hunter-gatherer lifestyle. Their ancestral lands have been dramatically reduced by encroaching farmers, pastoralists, and safari tourism. The Hadza, humanity's oldest way of life, are on the verge of extinction. Our journey now takes us north to the wild and remote Omo Valley of southern Ethiopia, a place so culturally rich that UNESCO has designated it a World Heritage Site. Here, in one of the most isolated regions on the continent, live over a dozen distinct tribes, each with their own language, customs, and striking visual identity. The most visually striking are the Mursi and their close relatives, the Surma. Mursi women are famous worldwide for their lip plates, large clay or wooden discs inserted into a cut in the lower lip. When a girl reaches the age of 15 or dizisis, her lower lip is cut by her mother, and a small wooden peg is inserted. Over months and years, progressively larger plates are worn, stretching the lip to extraordinary proportions. To outsiders, this practice may seem extreme, but to the Mursi, lip plates are a powerful symbol of beauty, maturity, and identity. The size and decoration of a woman's plate reflects her social status, her artistic skill, and her eligibility for marriage. It is, above all, a statement of cultural pride, a way of saying, I am Mursi. Among the Surma, young men compete in Dunga ritual stick fighting that is as brutal as it is beautiful. Armed with poles over 2 meters long, warriors from different villages face off in violent combat. The goal is to knock your opponent down without killing him, though serious injuries and even deaths do occur. Winning a donga match brings immense prestige and makes a man highly desirable to women. Both the Mursi and Surma are also renowned for their incredible body art. Using chalk, charcoal, iron ore, and plant pigments, they transform their bodies into living canvases, creating patterns of astonishing beauty and complexity. This art is temporary, washed away by rain or sweat, making each creation unique and fleeting. Tragically, the tribes of the Omo Valley face an existential crisis. The Ethiopian government's construction of the massive Jibe 3 dam has disrupted the Omo River's natural flooding cycle, the very cycle that the Maasai and other tribes depend on to grow their crops. Thousands of indigenous people have been forcibly relocated to make way for commercial plantations. Their ancient way of life hangs in the balance. We end our journey where humanity itself began, in the deserts of southern Africa with the San Bushmen, widely regarded as the oldest human population on Earth. Genetic research has confirmed what the San have always known. They are the original humans. Their DNA represents the most ancient lineage of Homo sapiens, dating back over 100,000 years. The San were here before every other ethnic group, before every civilization, before every kingdom. Their hakiarchi found in caves across southern Africa represents some of the oldest artistic expressions in human history, with some paintings dating back over 20,000 years. The San are legendary trackers, perhaps the greatest who have ever lived. They can identify an individual animal by its footprint alone. They can tell you how long ago it passed, whether it was healthy or injured, whether it was male or female. Some San hunters still practice persistence hunting, chasing an animal on foot for hours, sometimes days, until it collapses from exhaustion. It is believed to be the oldest hunting technique ever used by humans. At the center of San's spiritual life is the healing dance, a ceremony that can last all night. Women sit in a circle, clapping and singing songs of incredible beauty and power, while healers dance around the fire until they enter a deep trance state. In this trance, they believe they can heal the sick, communicate with the spirits of the dead, and even control the weather. The story of the San is also one of tragedy. Over centuries, they have been hunted, enslaved, and driven from their lands by Bantu-speaking tribes, European colonizers, and modern governments. In Botswana, San communities were forcibly removed from the Central Kalahari Game Reserve to make way for diamond mining. Today, many San live in government resettlement camps, disconnected from the land that sustained them for 100,000 years. It is one of the great tragedies of human history. These are just a handful of Africa's traditional tribes across this vast continent. Hundreds more communities continue to practice ancient customs, from the Dogon cliff dwellers of Mali to the Wodabé beauty contest performers of Niger, from the Zulu warriors of South Africa to the Pygmy communities of the Congo Rain. Each tribe is a living library, a repository of knowledge, language, art, medicine, and philosophy that took thousands of years to develop. When a tribal elder dies without passing on their knowledge, when a language falls silent because the last speaker is gone, when a ceremony is performed for the final time, we don't just lose a culture. We lose a piece of what it means to be human. These traditions remind us of our origins. They show us alternative ways of living, ways that are often more sustainable, more connected, and more meaningful than the lives most of us lead today. The question we must ask ourselves is simple. In our rush toward progress, what are we willing to lose? And is it too late to protect what remains? Thank you for watching this Hidden Africa documentary. If this video moved you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to see it. Subscribe to Hidden Africa and turn on notifications so you never miss our next journey into the heart of this extraordinary continent. Until next time, stay curious, stay respectful, and keep exploring the Hidden Africa.